Welcome to the exciting and new podcast. I'm Jason.
I'm Andy.
And I'm Brian.
All the way
from Anthony.
Who are you?
Hello.
What's your Anthony.
My name is Anthony.
Anthony Jr. Welcome. Brian just learned how to count
you.
to 3. I was very excited for that.
Are you going to go with that more?
I heard
Yeah,
about
maybe.
that the last
Easier for
podcast.
you?
I was really confused about his 4, 3, 2. His daughter,
everybody's
his daughter was the one that was really confused about it. That's what made it the
His
funniest.
daughter couldn't believe it when we pointed it out and told her, and then she watched it, and she's like, "What is going on there?" She had no idea that
Well,
he had such
my father
such
is minorly.
an issue.
Counting down is hard.
Hey, Anthony, you're on today, and you got to pick the movie. What did you choose?
Apocalypse Now Redux.
Oh, the Redux, the 3 hours and
Redux
22-minute version.
3 hours and 22 minutes.
I have a bone of contention. Did you choose the Redux, or is that just the only? That's just the version that's available.
I
to
actually
all of us?
chose the Redux because I remember
You could rent the final cut. I saw the final cut available to rent.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Yeah.
I've never watched anything before today but the original version, so this was all new to me. Well, not all new.
I chose the Redux because I remember watching the original, and it had to be the early 80s. And when the whole Redux came out, it gave a whole nother level to the movie. So,
and the final cut, I don't know. I'm sure Jason probably has something about what the
running
difference
times
is,
I have here are the original is a theatrical release, which was August 15, 1979, is 2 hours and 29 minutes. The final cut was 3 hours and 3 minutes, and the Redux was 3 hours and 22 minutes. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I got in 2001, Coppola, however you like to say his name, released Apocalypse Now Redux, a new cut of the movie featuring a whopping 49 minutes of new footage. This included new scenes, including an entire scene set, and let me tell you right now, absolutely not necessary for this movie.
I know that.
Set in a French plantation that was excised entirely. Coppola wouldn't leave it there, though. For the 40th anniversary of the movie, he released Apocalypse Now Final Cut, his presumed last version of the movie. For that version, he cut 20 minutes of that extra 49 minutes, leaving us with a 3 hour and 3 minute film.
I guess
I think we'll get to that.
I guess we can just get into the whole Redux original final cut. I've never seen the Redux before. I don't even. Is that a real word? What is that, French or something?
Redux.
Like that? I'm saying Redux. I'm like, are they really pronounced?
Is it Redux or Redo?
Yeah, right. Like
Hot
Shots
in there
Party
Deux. I think I would need it.
And maybe it's Redux because it's French and there's a bunch of
there.
French people in here. But that big scene at the French rubber plantation
colonists that have been there for
was
70 years
was completely pointless in this movie. Not pointless, but it's a time killer. Did
you need to kill time in a movie?
As far as pacing goes, it just is like, what are we doing? Like, now we're almost 3 hours into a movie that Marlon Brando hasn't even appeared in yet. Like, what's going on here? But that scene at the dinner table where they're talking about like French politics and all the losses that the French have taken over the last like 30 years, and we're not losing this land. I'm like, this is a great scene. It just didn't need to be in this movie.
It would have been great for another movie.
It was like, just do that as a featurette. Like, this is not part of the movie, but if you wanted to get a little more insight into the movie, watch this 30 minutes or whatever it is. The whole stuff with him and the girl afterwards, I bet that's the part that gets cut out in the final cut, because that doesn't need to be there except you see some extra boobs.
Or the heroin or the morphine or whatever.
Although there was no warning at the beginning of this movie for nudity. None at all. Because I rewound to look at it, because the first scene when you see him prancing around with his ass hanging out, I was like, did I get warned about nudity? And I did not.
This was 1979 rated R. So
it's a war movie. This is definitely getting rated R, man. You see people getting blowed up in decapitations.
I don't think there was a.
You got Larry Fishburne lying about his age. 17 years, but he's really 14.
He was 14 when he started filming this, and like 23 when they finished filming it, or something like that.
It was originally only supposed to be like a 16-week shoot or something like that. Turned into a insane.
Watching this movie,
you watch these guys grow
you
up.
can just see how long. Like they didn't just like keep going over the same part of swampland to film this. You can tell all the scenery changed. They're really and I think a lot of it was filmed in the Philippines. But anyway,
Yes.
I mean, you can just see they are really making the effort to put these guys in real situation, not real situation, but like in the real landscape. It's not just repeating the same stuff over and over again. They are moving. They're going somewhere.
It seemed like they surprised him with a real tiger at one point, though, didn't it? Like, a tiger!
That was hysterical. Never get off the boat. Never get off. That's still one of my favorite scenes of all time. Never get out of the boat.
Kurt's got
Fucking
off the boat.
Never get out of the boat.
Never
Yeah, Kurt's get out of the boat. Look what happened.
That water buffalo, they really do slaughter that water buffalo. That's a real
Yeah, I heard
slaughtering.
about that. Yeah.
It looked
And
real,
that is
but
a-
I was like,
that
no
is a-
way. They're just killing an
You know how they
animal.
have like no animals are harmed in this? This is a movie that does not have that because that wasn't
Oh,
real
this is actually
slaughter.
harmed an
Pre
animal.
that.
They
that
allowed
agreement.
it. They allowed it though.
I mean, that was
They
a
could've
real,
faked it.
probably a real ceremony. It's almost like
Probably.
Oh, it was a real ceremony that
it's
they
almost like a
did, yeah.
documentary being filmed in the middle of a movie. Just let
Yeah.
these people.
That was almost National,
slaughter this buffalo
National
and-
Geographic came
yeah.
in there and shot something. Yeah.
They're gonna do it anyway. Can we just film it for the movie, please?
Playing Captain Benjamin L. Willard was Martin Sheen. Marty Sheen had a heart attack right around the time of this movie. In
old
real
was
life.
he?
Really?
Like 35 or something like that.
A
Yeah.
heart attack?
What? No.
Dang.
I gotta tell you, I have never thought that Charlie Sheen and Emilio Estevez look like. I mean, they look similar. They don't look like brothers, but they both look like Martin Sheen. Like every time, every once in a
Absolutely.
while, I'm like, Emilio Estevez is on TV. Oh no, it's Charlie Sheen. Like
Yep.
I kept looking, and he's better looking than both of them. Martin. There were times in this movie I was like, damn, Martin Sheen was a good looking dude back then. Like,
Yeah.
it was almost a disservice to have him so covered in mud and
Even
blood
when-
for half the movie.
Even when he was cutting himself up, drinking brandy.
Drinking cognac or whatever he was
Yeah,
drinking
right.
there.
Martell
Martell,
cognac.
I saw
which-
the Martell.
Martell
Are you
cognac.
drinking that right
Yeah.
now? Is that what
No,
you're drinking?
no. I am off the brown liquor for a while.
Cognac's
Considering-
not a brown. That's
So no brown liquor tomorrow for the big game?
No, not at all. Go Birds.
He's a guest.
cut.
He's a guest.
Jason, you brought it up. So now it's there. It's
He's a
there.
guest. I thought it would be nice.
That would be nice. Yes.
Thank you, Jason.
Do you want
I
to
love you.
Can you guess any of his top four? I love you too.
Who's top four?
Marty Sheen.
Marty Sheen.
Marty Sheen's
West-
top four?
West Wing?
West Wing.
No.
Interesting.
Really?
Apocalypse Now's in there. I'll give you that.
What's a Stephen King one?
Stephen King one? Like what?
Oh, he's
Stephen
the.
King one.
Is that Dead Zone?
Dead Zone, yeah.
He's not.
Dead
It's not in his top
Zone.
four.
Oh.
Oh, I forgot about that
I
zone.
mean, I'm
That's a
struggling
great
with
movie.
Marty Sheen. I feel like I know his kids better.
I'm going to give you.
wait.
Want me to say
Do you
him
know
now?
him personally?
Oh, the
Marty
new
Sheen?
one, the Netflix
You know him personally?
one.
No. What's up?
Oh.
What did he say?
I said Marty Sheen. I said, Andy, do you know him personally? Marty Sheen? Marty?
I don't.
Marty?
We got to get back in time, Marty.
The Departed.
Oh, Jesus Christ! Yeah.
Oh, The Departed.
Logan would
Wow,
smack me
I
in the back of the head for
didn't
not
even-
knowing that.
Badlands
I don't know that one.
and The Way.
I don't know that one either.
So let's
Oh,
just
wait
go
a-
right into who played Colonel Walter E. Kurtz. Do you know who that was?
Marlon Brando,
Why did you say it like that?
because that's how he talks.
Because he sounds like Marlon Brando.
He
Right-
appeared
right
at
I don't have any mothballs in,
in the Redux
balls
in the
my mouth.
Redux version of this movie. He appears at
Oh, did
the
you get it?
2 hour and 38 minute.
I forgot to
version
look
of
that
this.
up.
hours in.
I wrote it down because I wrote the guy that appears only 8 minutes earlier in the movie. I put that down. I was like, this guy at 2.5 hours in, and then when Marlon Brando finally appeared, I'm like, oh, 2 hours and 38 minutes.
That was
in.
38 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah, Marlon Brando. I don't know if you need Marlon Brando in this role. I don't know how much he adds to this. I know he had all the juice in the world in 1975 or whenever they started filming this off of, well, it came out in 79, but like this
76 is when they started
75,
This
filming.
is right
yeah.
after Godfather and stuff like that.
It was
so.
like The Godfather and the general that sent Willard in.
Oh, yeah.
He was the senator.
Senator
from
Gary,
from
yeah.
Godfather 2.
Oh, there it
It's
was.
Senator
Yeah.
Gary.
He's the one that Fredo or Tom Hagen has kills the hooker, so that it looks like he killed her. In Godfather
Also, I
2.
want to my correction. This was scheduled to shoot for 6 weeks.
6,
and it took 16 months.
6 weeks.
6 weeks is what they were intending.
The enemy's government.
You know, these guys,
this
this young new Hollywood group of people. Francis Ford Coppola being one of them, along with friends of the show, George Lucas, Steven Spielberg, and that guy that did Goodfellas. What's his name? The Italian dude.
Scorsese.
Marty?
They took over
Marty
Hollywood
Scorsese?
and like pushed all their. They didn't do anything to earn anything, and just pushed all their weight around and just made just all the best movies of
Whatever the hell they wanted,
our generation. But based on nothing, they just came in and said, "Yeah, I'll take $17 million and go to Vietnam and film a movie." I mean, he had done Godfather by this time.
He lived to be 80.
Who?
Brando.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Francis Ford Coppola. I think he's still alive.
No, Brando. He lived to be 80. He died in 2004.
Yeah, I remember Brando going through all that shit with his son when.
Oh, that's
he
right.
Killed
Did
someone?
he kill somebody? Yeah. And then Brando with his whole acceptance of the
Like
Academy
Cuban?
Award.
Oh, when he
He's
sent up the Native American woman.
Yep.
Yeah. That was a little before our time. That
Yep.
might have been for like Godfather or something like that.
Yeah, so you were mentioning his top 4 Apocalypse Now. You got the other one, The Godfather. Can you get the other 2? Brian?
Freshman.
Did not make it. That's what.
The Freshman.
How about
Matthew
Broderick, right? Yeah.
What's Stella? Is that on the water?
On the waterfront.
On the waterfront.
Streetcar Named Desire.
Streetcar Named Desire.
Streetcar Named Desire.
Which one on the waterfront? Is that it?
Yeah, that's the top 4.
Is Stella on the waterfront or Streetcar Named Desire?
Streetcar Named Desire.
Streetcar Desire is
It's
Stella.
from the Simpsons episode. That's the only reason I know it.
All I can think of is Elaine doing that inside. Stella.
And then you got Last Tango in Paris.
Oh, Jesus Christ! Yeah, which
is almost considered an
a
X-rated
porno
film,
or something like that. Yeah.
You know,
Big
anytime I
fat
think
Brando.
of Streetcar Named Desire, I think of the Simpsons. Sorry.
Right, Marge did the play, right? Yeah.
Swinging left and right all over the
Up next,
New Orleans.
New Orleans.
playing Lieutenant Colonel Bill Kilgore, Robert Duvall, or as Andy calls him, Bobby.
That is my
Bobby D.
That is my favorite part of the movie right there.
It's
that right there.
Whatever that scene, that 15 minutes from beginning to end, and the whole surfboard thing, stealing the surfboard.
Well,
that is a Redux edition. That's not in the original
It's
movie.
great.
Because when I was watching this, I was like, I do not remember this ever happening. And then I looked it up, and
he
the
was
whole
all over Lance. He loved Lance, didn't he?
Yeah, Lance was a famous surfer.
I mean,
Lance
that
was a SoCal
is
surfer.
honestly that is
Yeah.
the best part of this movie.
It really is.
There's so much fun. There's so much excitement going on in that.
From the time they introduce him till the time it ends, it's the best part of the movie.
When he's flying down the
there's a
river
lot of
and
comedy
you just hear the recording as the helicopter is going down the river.
You will not be hurt. I will. You're talking about with the Flight of the Valkyries, or like
when you were saying
when
when he was looking for the surfboard, he said you will not be hurt.
Right.
and they're just hiding and laughing about it that they took the surfboard. But yeah, I mean, there are so many like singular moments in that scene. But let's just talk about Bobby Duvall right now.
One-liners in the entire 15-minute version. There's so many one-liners in that.
Yeah. Oh, it's. I mean,
We
and
can
all
talk
the ones
about that scene
and all
now
the ones,
if you
all
want.
the ones
Go
that we know. Like I love the spell of napalm in the morning and stuff like that. Yeah, sure. But
Charlie Don't Surf.
Charlie Don't Surf.
Smells like, well, you said smells like victory. You already said yeah.
But the whole thing with the body, give me my deck of cards. I want my body cards.
Oh,
And he's just
body
like
cards.
throwing
Body
the card.
cards.
Yeah, you're a jack of
Cards.
diamonds and you're an ace of hearts. And I'm like, and they're like, he wants them to know who killed them. I'm like, I don't get what those cards represent. I don't get how each person getting a card.
The Viet Cong or the Viet Minh, whoever, to know who's responsible. It was
So
the air cavalry.
they were his personalized cards. Is that what they were?
Yeah,
Like,
because on the back of the cards, if you look, the back of the cards was Death from Above.
I will be on
it was
eBay as soon as this podcast ends, looking for a deck of those cards.
He was only
You need to get those cards.
He only has
I thought the same thing when I saw them.
He only has 11 minutes screen time.
Yeah, it's
Robert
the best
Duvall.
11 minutes of this movie by far. This is the strength of this movie, and
the beach party, playing the guitar, cooking the steaks, the beers. it's a total SoCal beach party.
when they storm that beach the next day, when he wants to surf, they storm that beach, and there are explosions going off, gunshots, and Robert Duvall's just standing there, like guys are running for cover, and he's just like. adjusting his hat and just kind of like looking around.
He needs to stand there.
But he's also like
standing there.
He wants to get that kid to safety. The mom, you've got to go with the kid. You got to get her to safety. And when the one guy gets shot, and the only thing that's holding his internal organs in is the pot, he's like, give that man water. If he was able to defend himself, holding his man. Yeah, I'm like, Martin Sheen proves later in the movie what you should do in a situation like that. Just kill the guy. But the fact that he was like compassionate to these people that they've just been like firebombing before that. Oh. Yeah, great.
The funny thing about that scene with the guy holding his guts in with the pot head was the pot top was he's sitting there all involved with that, and he goes, the surf's up. He goes, he hands the water.
He immediately forgets about that. Yeah.
He leaves. He goes, I'm out. Where's the surf? What? Doing what now?
And then there's the whole. I said in my notes, I said the cantina scene, and I said actually the whole scene, the Lord's prayers are. The guy's giving the Lord's Prayer, and the bombs are dropping behind them, and as he's doing it, and then the cow just comes flying overhead on the bottom of the helicopter. I was like, "This is insane!" I mean, that must have been so fun to film, or not, or just like terrible to film.
He got excited. He's like, "They're lifting the boat."
Oh yeah, and then they dropped the boat. There's our boat. Yeah, that's a great scene. There's one part of this scene also that I want to discuss, but I'll wait till we'll get. It's a cast member.
Okay, so Duvall's top 4 was tough. I don't think anybody was really going to get that other than Apocalypse Now. Would you have gotten The Apostle, Tender Mercies, and Open Range?
I might have guessed Tender Mercies, but not Godfather 1 or 2, man.
I know, that's what the top 4 thing is insane really? Sometimes. It really is. It's
this is IMDb. IMDb's.
Internet movie database.
I got to talk to them about how they get their numbers because this is just crazy. Who's Googling Tender Mercies over Godfather 2?
You had Frederick Forrest. Frederick Forrest was playing J. Chef Hicks. We'll talk about the chef.
Oh, Chef.
Yeah.
Yeah, the last time I saw him, he was not looking that good. At least a part of
Chef was who I was just talking about earlier with the tiger.
Tiger, right? Yeah,
he got upset a lot.
He was angry.
I'm a fucking saucier.
That was great. The whole saucier thing. What the hell is a saucier?
He's
sauces. Lots of sauces. Tons of
I kind of want to try his tomato sauce. Not gonna lie.
I wish there was a Apocalypse Now cookbook. That would be fun. You know, chef's Cajun sauce when they're eating at the beginning. Fun, yeah. When they're eating at the beginning, and the General Senator Gary from
and
he's like,
the French.
Eat those shrimps. He's like, if you can handle that, you can handle anything. I'm like, what's going on with those?
And you got the French dinner that they had.
Oh, the French dinner. Yep. And the prime rib. He's like, it's normally good here, or the roast beef. The roast beef is normally good here.
Normally good.
He's just being fed by a Vietnamese guy. Just
Can you guess anything that he was in?
Who are we talking about now? Chef.
Senator Gary?
I don't even know if I know him.
Yeah, I mean, other than Apocalypse Now, he was in The Conversation with Gene Hackman.
Wow, okay, that makes sense. That
Falling Down, that's with
Martin Sheen.
Yeah.
Oh, Falling Down.
No, Michael Douglas.
Michael Douglas.
Michael Douglas.
And
his favorite movie.
And then The Rose.
The Falling Down Midler, threw me off. Like, I wonder what he's in that. Doesn't matter. We'll get to that movie.
Sam Bottoms played Bobby Duvall's favorite guy, Lance B. Johnson.
Man,
famous
Lance. Did that poor guy lose at the end? Holy crap!
He died young.
Oh,
okay.
He died in 2008. He was only 53. He had brain cancer.
I gotta say, Lance, the character Lance. I mean, he was pretty stable up until
the puppy.
The puppy.
Up until meeting Kilgore, and then them stealing the surfboard, and then and then all of a sudden he dropped the acid. And everything went south.
Well, when he did the acid, the flare, that's when future cast member Larry Fishburne got killed. At one point,
he's sitting there against the 50 cals, and he's like going,
I'm glad you said 50 cals.
What is going on there?
When I'm watching this, and Chief is like, get to the 60, get to the 50. I'm like, what the fuck are they talking? I'm like, oh. I think
50 cal, 50 cal. I think I know what that means.
Guns. That's a caliber.
You know what? If you had Mac on this podcast, he would know.
Listen, guns and cars confuse me.
We usually bring up if we get any gun information and we can pass that on. We pass it on to Mac.
If you ever have a podcast with cars and guns, get me and Mac in.
I know you're definitely that guy. Yeah, it's scary.
Do we have Christine coming up next in '83? That's a
That's
car
a
movie.
very specific car.
57 Plymouth Fury.
Fury, yeah.
I owned one. I drove one. The 65 was a 65 Fury, but you remember.
I do.
Playing
Big, giant piece of shit.
Playing Tyrone Clean Miller was an underage Lawrence Fishburne. He said he was 17, but he was actually 14 in 1976 when this filming started.
I had no idea.
And the tape that he's listening to when he's on the when they get their mail, that was his real mom.
When he gets
really,
when he gets
I had
killed,
no idea. That's
and
brilliant.
that tape is still
it's still playing.
And his mom's like, "Hey, we're waiting for you to come back, and you hope you don't
talk about I'm gonna have a grandbaby.
Oh, your grandbabies, and you keep your head down." And I'm like, the guy's already lying there dead. I'm like, fuck. I'm like, that was awful.
It's brutal. It is brutal.
And it's all Lance's fault for lighting off that flare, man.
Lance put him into the water, though.
No. Chief got in the water.
Was that Chef got in the water?
No. Clean got buried. He was the one that when they got to the French plantation.
When
they got to the plantation, he's like, Martin Sheen's like, I lost one of my men, and they bury him. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Chief got put out to the water, and then Chef got beheaded. Too many C's. Chief, Chef, Clean. Look, I'm getting mixed up with who's who.
I got another C for you. Ready?
There's some weird alliteration going on there.
Jason's got a C.
You already
word
did
for
Albert
us.
Hall was Chief. You got him,
okay.
but I was going to do another C for you. Colonel Lucas Harrison Ford.
Lucas, and in the subtitles of the movie, it kept saying Luke. Luke, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, is Harrison Ford playing Luke? I'm like, what's going on? I'm getting confused
but
here.
I do have an update. Remember, we said that his top 4 had no Star Wars in it? It has a Star Wars movie in it now.
And it's like The Force Awakens or something like that.
It's a New Hope.
Oh, okay. Good.
Yeah.
Good for Harrison. Yeah, when we did Blade Runner, he had no Star Wars in his top 4.
Wow.
All right, cool. So his name is Captain.
Colonel Lucas.
Colonel
Lucas.
Yeah, because Captain Willard salutes him, but
Yep.
Colonel G. Lucas. So they said that's George Lucas, and
that was a nod to George Lucas.
But in the subtitles, every time he talked off screen, they said Luke. I was like, oh man, I can't get past Harrison Ford. I can't get past Harrison Ford being labeled Luke.
Luke is.
That was weird. Yeah.
That's so stupid. And so if that was filmed before, was that filmed before Star Wars?
76 is when they started filming.
I mean, who knows when they filmed that?
I don't know when they filmed
scene.
Star Wars was 77. So
they were both filmed around the same time.
I always thought that he looked very young, like before Harrison Ford was Han Solo.
Well, I mean, he was 30
in
when
this
he was
movie.
Han Solo.
He looked young.
He looks younger here than he does in Star Wars. Yeah,
that's what I was trying to say.
It's also because he's got like the short military haircut. I think Han Solo's got more scruffy looking Nerf herder kind of hair.
Yeah. I was going
there. Those Nerf herders.
You got there at the same time I was trying to get there. It's like, he got there.
Goddamn Nerf herders. That's our word.
That's our word.
Up next was someone Brando did not get along with. Dennis Hopper played a photojournalist.
He was the guy that I said another guy appeared at 2 hours and 30 minutes because I thought Dennis Hopper appeared in this movie a lot earlier. I thought the last time I saw this movie was probably in the 90s.
And he comes in at 2:30 and Brando came in at 2:38, right?
Yeah.
Well, the original movie is only 2:29.
Okay, so he probably like an hour and a half in or something like that.
That's when I watch.
Yeah, so
I thought that in my brain, Dennis Hopper was on their boat for a while, like going down with them. But obviously, it's not the way. That's not the way it was. But I misremembered because at some point I was like, "Where the hell is Dennis Hopper getting in this movie?" And then when he showed up, I'm like, "Oh, there he is." But it's
way too many people. Like, I mean, you want more from some of these guys. You know,
was he a good man? Was he a kind man? He was a
man. Dennis Hopper. Dennis Hopper played every single Dennis Hopper character in this movie. In the 10 minutes he's on screen, I'm like, Dennis Hopper's being Dennis Hopper. I was
watching this afternoon, and I put the subtitles on just so I could hear I could just hear and watch everything. And his like super rapid fire soliloquy about Kurtz. I'm watching going. I'm seriously. I'm going. I can't follow. I mean, even the subtitles I couldn't follow because he's so rapid. I'm like
the scene where Martin Sheen's like in the bamboo
in the
prison,
cage.
And he's feeding them, giving them the water, and he's walking around, and the cage is only 2 feet wide or whatever it is, and he's walking around that tall. Man, I was like, being in that thing has got to be terrible. Having Dennis Hopper hopped up
around
and
you,
yell like I'd be like, just fucking kill me now, please. Oh.
It was 1979. I'm sure there was a little line of coke in the corner going, all right, Dennis, go.
That's probably how Martin Sheen had his heart attack.
Probably.
Hopper died in 2010.
That was sad.
74.
Always a big fan.
God rest his soul. I love that
Complications
man.
from breast cancer.
Really?
Damn.
Yeah.
Wait, whoa. Guys can get breast cancer?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, they can. Yes,
Shit,
they
I should
can.
probably be checked for that.
Peter
I have
Chris-
very big breasts.
That's what Peter Chris had.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, man, that's just enough. Women can't get testicular cancer. That's not fair.
Or prostate.
Because
Or
they have
prostate
ovary, too.
cancer. Can men get ovary cancer? Holy shit. What?
No, they don't have- Dude, do you know the anatomy? Come on now.
From the
You should
bottom
probably
of
talk
my
to your-
chin to like my left nipple. That's all I got, man.
Okay.
After that,
Hey,
it's all a
somebody call-
mystery. I
somebody
can't
ca-
see anything
somebody
below
call
my
me-
nipples.
Somebody call Michelle. We need to talk about this. We need to come on, Andy.
Intervention.
We're doing an intervention in the middle of this podcast.
Some sort of intervention.
I love Dennis Hopper.
Not. We got G.D. Spradlin played General
Wait,
Corman.
whoa. Dennis Hopper's top 4?
I didn't know you were still playing that game. All right.
Ah.
What
Dennis
do you
Hopper,
got?
we
What do you
gotta
got?
do it.
You have to do top 4.
I'll
Dennis Hopper.
tell you, but I figure I'd let you guess.
Speed?
Speed is in his top 4. Apocalypse is not.
Oh.
All right, that's your hint so far. But yes, Speed is in his top 4.
True Romance.
Oh, that's a good one.
Not in his top 4.
One of the
Really?
all-time best scenes in movie
What do you
history.
got over there, Tone?
The Christopher Walken, Dennis
What do you
Hopper
got over there,
scene in the
Tony?
True
Thriller,
Romance.
yeah.
What is that, Velvet?
What's that?
Some
What is
color,
that, velvet?
some colored velvet. What
Blue
color
Velvet is correct.
Wow.
Blue
Boom.
velvet, all right.
I knew it was one of them.
Dennis
And it was one some color.
Say it, Brian. You know it.
Freddie
What if-
got fingered.
No, what if I went like this?
Freddie got fingered. Yeah, that's the one. I
Oh,
was thinking
Easy
of.
Rider.
Yep.
Yeah.
Wait,
Is that
it
it?
wasn't
Is it
Super
Easy-
Mario Brothers, was it?
No, it was Easy Rider.
So it's Easy Rider, Apocalypse Now.
Blue
no.
Velvet,
Blue Velvet.
Speed,
Blue Velvet.
Oh,
and
we didn't get them all yet because it's not Apocalypse Now.
Waterworld, everybody.
Ah.
Waterworld.
Waterworld. He played you know what? Waterworld was a shit
Ah,
movie.
You know what?
But he played a great part in that movie.
It's
He
not.
really
It's
did.
not
I
a
never
terrible
watched it.
movie. It's
It's not
better.
terrible.
It's
It's
better
not
than
a
it's
good
been
movie.
remembered for.
I never watched it.
Yeah, but he
Really?
played a great part, smoking the Black Death cigarettes. Which
It's not a
apparently
great movie, but
became-
it's not awful either. It got shit upon, but
well,
whatever.
you know, Kevin Costner.
Because of Kevin Costner, really. Yeah.
But he gets a lot of love now for Jellystone.
Which
Oh,
I
but-
keep trying to watch. Hey, boo boo.
Jason, I love you.
I was hoping
I really
somebody-
love you.
I hope somebody was picking up on that one. I was like, I was looking around waiting for the hey yo boo boo.
Hey, boo boo.
Hey, boo.
Goodness.
G.D. Spradlin played General Corman. I got Jerry Ziesmer playing Jerry the civilian.
Jerry
That's a
the
really
civilian.
weird looking guy.
Really creepy guy. He's the
Yeah.
Terminate with Extreme Prejudice or whatever.
He's the CIA.
like his only
he's
line,
the CIA
right?
guy.
He's only in like
Yeah.
15 movies.
Yeah,
He didn't
he's
do
a real
lot.
creepy looking dude too.
Yeah.
Scott
He was the CIA plant.
Scott Glenn played Lieutenant Richard M. Colby.
Colby. That's
Wait,
right.
Scott Glenn from Silence of the Lambs?
Yes.
Yes.
That's
yes,
Colby?
Yes.
That's Colby. Yep.
Yes.
Oh, god damn, really?
And from Hunt for Red October.
Wow.
We have a returning guest, Yvette from Clue. Colleen Camp. She played one of the playmates, Miss May.
Miss December?
Holy-
Miss May.
She's Miss
Miss
May.
December?
Miss May.
Miss May.
Oh my God. You know what? When I saw her, I'm like, I know her.
Wait,
It's
Yvette,
from
so
Clue.
she's the maid from
She's
Clue.
the maid from Clue.
She's the maid. She's the maid from Clue. Yes.
All right.
I dropped down to 1 speed for that.
Now,
And I had my last person for the cast here was uncredited.
oh, okay. That's the other thing that I want to talk about
Playing
from
it was
the Kilgore stuff. Yeah.
He recorded 1 week. He filmed for 1 week.
That was 1 week? It looked
as
like
Captain
1
Benjamin.
minute.
He was Benjamin L. Willard in the boat departure scene. Harvey Keitel.
Then that's not who I had.
Really?
Oh.
I didn't see Harvey
Yeah,
Keitel.
a week of filming in the Philippines, Harvey Keitel's performance as Captain Willard was deemed insufficient for the director's vision of the character, and was promptly replaced with Martin Sheen.
Wait, so Harvey Keitel is actually in the movie filming
There's part of him as Benjamin Willard in the boat departure scene. You see Harvey Keitel.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
That's like Eric Stoltz is still in Back to the Future
Yep.
as Marty, but there's like one scene where he's still in it. But
That's gotta hurt a little bit. The direct, you film all this stuff, and the director goes, "Nah."
I wonder
You're
why.
not
Yeah, but
enough.
only a week
Well,
in, really. So
I wonder why
Yeah,
Harvey Keitel
but
wasn't
still.
right for that, because it sounds like he could have been right for that. But the person that I had in the cast that you didn't mention was the helicopter pilot, Kilgore's helicopter pilot.
Oh yeah, I forgot to put it.
Arlie Ermy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I forgot to
We
put
all
that.
know him
Army.
from, of course, from Full Metal Jacket. But as soon as he started talking,
Yeah.
I was like,
Oh, you
oh,
know.
I
You
know
know,
that
you can
voice.
hear it.
But uncredited also.
Yeah. You
Which
know
I
what?
think
It's
that
funny.
They
both,
deserve credits, you would think. Maybe not
I
Keitel.
don't know how
times-
that works with credits and stuff like that.
both times that I watched Redux, again, because I hadn't watched it in so many years before I watched it a couple of weeks ago. When I saw Arlie Ermy, I was like, oh, I know that voice.
He's got
And
that
then it- and then on
distinctive
screen,
voice. As soon as he
Very-
started talking, I was like, oh my God, it's the army soldier from Toy Story. Oh, no. I mean, it's the guy from Full Metal Jacket.
Back it.
It's Gunnery Sergeant. What? I mean,
can't remember his
who
name.
cares? Gunnery Sergeant.
There's no opening credits
call,
or
though.
titles.
Very
No
good call.
opening. Was there closing? Or did my
Is
Netflix just stop the movie as soon as Martin Sheen got back on the boat? It just like went,
I had no
Well,
what do you
I
want to
credits
watch
on what I
next?
was
I'm like,
watching.
is
I
there
got
no
this, I
credits
got-
to this movie?
There are no opening credits or titles. The title appears late in the film as graffiti, which reads Armado,
Graffiti.
Apocalypse
Yes,
Now.
I saw that.
Then the film cannot be copyrighted as Apocalypse Now unless the title was seen in the film. The version shown on Netflix as of 2022 has neither opening nor end credits.
Okay, it did not.
Just a 2001 copyright tag over a blank screen.
Interesting. Well, 3 hours and
see-
29 minutes. It did not need opening or closing credits.
You
I would have
see,
zipped through those.
you see the spray paint of Apocalypse Now when they're getting off the boat
I don't remember seeing
with
that.
Yeah,
Dennis Hopper.
I remember.
It's in the background. It's in white, and you can see it. You can see it on the wall, on the stone wall.
Francis Ford Coppola, however you want to say it.
I don't think you said it right the other time there.
He shot nearly 200 hours of footage. I want to
I
see it.
need to see the
I
200
wanna
hour
see it.
version of this movie.
That's a
So
lot.
I
it's
want to
gonna be-
take
it's
3
gonna be-
weeks off from work and watch Apocalypse
on the
Now.
big wall. We'll watch it on the
director's-
wall.
The director's
watch it on the wall
final
in there.
Redux cut. Yes, I need that. That
It's
would
going
be
to be a
awesome.
part two Redux.
Just like when we talked about the 4-hour version of Young Frankenstein. That's not the version I always want to watch, but I want to see it once. And I want to see the 200
I
hour
wanna see,
version of Apocalypse Now
The
once.
day the laughter, the clown.
Oh,
the clown.
the clown.
Jerry
Clyde
Lewis clown die. The Jerry
The
Lewis and the
Holocaust
Holocaust
clown
clown.
movie, which they did as Life is
There's
Beautiful.
a movie. It's out there.
Really?
There's a one version.
Is it available out there?
Not available, but there is a
The
copy
day
of
the
it, I
clown
think.
cried.
The day the day the
Day
clown
Laughter
died.
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 Day the laughter died.
But I'm getting that confused with Dice's album, The Day the Laughter Died. Isn't that Dice? The Day the Laughter Died.
They might both be the same
If a,
thing.
if a producer had his laptop, we could pull that
I
up.
know.
You know what I mean? But
He's just gonna scratch.
My
himself
phone's
on
right
it.
there.
if you had a laptop,
That's true.
I mean, you're not even doing sound effects. We haven't had one sound
I haven't
effect.
heard sound. I haven't
Most
heard
of the
a
times you
I've
hear
heard
the
a
producers,
laugh track.
like,
I haven't heard
whisper,
a
like-
clap or anything.
The answer to this. Blah, blah, blah.
I haven't heard of
Not this
I haven't heard of
producer.
Fra- I haven't heard of Fra Bluca in any of this. Oh,
Like,
wait,
we can't go to
Oh no.
Dude, why are you encouraging
Oh,
this?
no.
we can't go to our producer like anybody else. Hey, what do you got there, Brian? And he's like, yeah, read this. I'll watch Hey Babe, or I'll watch Taste Buddies, and they homeless pimps pulling that shit up, dude.
Taste buddies.
Yeah, Taste Buddies with Joe DeRosa and Sal Volcano. You guys are more than welcome to come on our show.
Oh, that's their producer of that show.
No, Homeless Pimp is their producer.
Oh.
Sal and Joe, they sit there and they argue over two different things. They'll choose food, and they'll choose you'll choose a food. They choose one and they battle it against each other.
That's pretty cool.
Taste Buddies. But anyway, Apocalypse Now. What do you think about it?
Whoa. Sorry.
I mean, I stopped because I figured you had something to say.
What are we waiting for?
Anthony, you
at the very
watch this
beginning,
movie. Do you have anything to say? I'm
did
fucking carrying
you
this
you
thing.
did
What
a whole
the
bunch of
fuck,
research.
man? I stopped talking and it's dead air. What do you want? Say something.
Stop yelling at me.
No, all of you.
God,
Andy was like, yo.
I have something.
And he didn't fucking say a word.
I had to pick up my phone and then close an eye to read what I had.
I mean,
down
come
there.
on, dude.
At the very beginning of this movie, when they're playing the tapes of Marlon Brando,
bring Mari on. Go ahead, bring her on. We'll yell at her too.
I'm gonna smack you. I swear to God, if I was there. I actually bought Heart of Darkness by Joseph Conrad.
I was gonna watch the documentary that's on YouTube.
Right here. And it's actually, you know what? This has got to be one of the hardest books to read, almost like the Silmarillion. It was written in 1899 by Joseph Conrad, who is a Polish immigrant to England.
Wait, he wrote about the Vietnam War in 1899?
No,
it's what, like the Congo or something like that?
It was, yes, it took place in the Congo.
I know, I'm messing with you.
It took place of a ivory trader named Kurtz, who had gone insane, and he was going up the river to find out what had happened. Now, it had nothing about assassination or anything, but I got halfway into this book, and I had to stop because I swear to God, there were, again, I consider myself a fairly intelligent man,
wow,
but not a super intelligent man.
You'll get a lot of arguments here, but keep going.
Shush. Only because you've known me a long time, Andy. The horror.
Yes, I know. It's stupid. You are.
So anyway, this book, I swear to God, I got halfway into it. I had to stop because it hurt my head because there are so many extemporaneous words and phrases that are used from the turn of the century, the 19th century, that I'm like, I can't read this anymore. And, you know, my wife, who is infinitely more intelligent than I am, read the first chapter and she goes, I can't read this.
She doesn't listen to this podcast. You don't have to say that.
Yeah, dude, she won't hear this.
She actually does.
She doesn't listen to this podcast.
She actually does, believe it or not, because she wants to know what's going on.
Mari,
in my head,
if you listen to this podcast, you will comment on every one of our Instagrams.
Yeah, I follow you on Instagram. You have never once liked any of my Instagram posts when I talk about this podcast.
What's up, Mari? You're such a big fan of ours, huh? Where you at, Mari?
You know what? She might like every one of mine. I have no idea if she does or not.
Heart of Darkness, Joseph Conrad.
Let me tell you something about Heart of Darkness. There's a documentary that's on YouTube. I tried to watch it, but it's in English, but it's giant French lettering, and that threw me off. So I was like, I can't watch this.
I'm not even sure what you mean by
Is it
giant
French or
Polish?
It was French.
It's just all written across.
It was French subtitles across the whole thing. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
How does that not make sense?
You said giant French letters.
Subtitles.
I don't know. That's what it was on. It was on YouTube. You can't. I couldn't change it.
Damn.
The reason I picked this
I want
movie.
to watch this now just to see the giant French subs.
But real quick, Mari does not listen to this podcast.
Yeah. Fuck
the
you,
reason I
Maury.
picked this movie was this was one of the first movies that when HBO first started, they did not have a lot of content.
Fuck all you guys who when HBO first started. I hear that every goddamn week. I watch this all the time on HBO back in the day. I didn't have HBO.
Wow.
I want to hear it.
I'm Andy. I didn't have HBO. Wow.
But you had Prism.
I did. Have
Prism was fun. Did you watch the wrestling?
I lived in Philadelphia. I had Prism.
Once a month. Once a month, there was Spectrum Wrestling.
Maybe I did. I watched a lot of wrestling back then too.
That, yeah.
I'd go to my friend's house to watch it.
I loved Spectrum Wrestling.
I watched a lot of after hours Prism.
After Hours Prism was awesome.
That was a good time.
We had to watch it with the squiggly lines.
My dad just wanted the Phillies games. And I'm like, Dad, it's 11 o'clock. You got to get off this TV.
Zip.
Back we had one TV in the family room.
How great would that sound effect have been if he had that right there?
I think he does.
I do have Zip on there somewhere.
But he would
I'm
just
afraid to look for it.
He'll just do it with his mouth.
See if you can find it real quick.
Right.
This is if you say the zipper joke again.
Hold on.
He did the zipper joke.
Say the zipper joke again. I thought you said it.
Mouth, and he did it. He can do it. So, look at this fucking guy, man.
It's like when he used to watch Silk Stockings. When he would watch Silk Stockings.
Button.
I don't think I have the zipper on here.
Just do it. Do something.
Do the clapping sound. We'll make fun of you for that.
There it is. Oh, never mind.
This This movie is way
Wow.
too serious to be doing this nonsense.
You know what? I was watching it. I'm going, you know what? This podcast is going to be a big freaking downer.
How about this one? Sheen had the heart attack during filming. Some of the shots of the back of Willard are his double, which is Joe Estevez, his brother. Marty's brother, Joe Estevez.
Wow.
So his
Estevez.
brother Joe didn't feel he should take the family name Sheen.
I guess not.
He had to change his name to Estevez.
Yeah.
Okay.
Who
Sheen's
knows?
such a nice name. Why do you have to change it?
Joe Estevez
Because
was
it
on a
was
lot of
I
Tim and
think it was
Eric stuff,
Estevez.
right?
Brando was paid $1 million in
keep going on
advance
that.
for this. He was threatened to quit and keep the advance. Francis Ford.
Coppola? Cupola?
Coppola.
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 He told his agent.
I'm the one Italian in
Wasn't
the group
that the name
here.
of the bad
It's
guy in
Coppola.
Mario? The Koopa?
Koopas,
No,
yeah.
it's Coppola. Hey, wait a minute. That was Dennis Hopper.
Well,
It was. It all comes back.
he
to
told
it.
his he told his agent that he didn't care and that if he couldn't get Brando, he would try and get Jack Nicholson, Robert Redford, or Al Pacino.
Man, I think that part is not that important. I think you can get anybody.
I
to
agree.
be
You could have got
the
Keitel
Kurtz,
back
yeah.
for that.
I think the Kurtz part
Yeah.
is so overrated in this movie, and he might have won an Oscar for this. Or,
I agree. It could have been by anybody.
He's
The
in
whole movie is
silhouette or face totally in darkness
the
half the
entire
time he's
time.
on the screen.
Almost the entire time.
So
the
I
whole
don't. I
movie
don't,
is the whole lead up the river. That's
yeah,
the whole.
I don't get
that's
why
the whole movie.
Marlon Brando gets any praise for this movie.
My favorite river movie is Deliverance, so I can't. Sorry.
Jason's more a fan of male rape than just war.
Ned Beatty's
rape.
best work.
Oh man,
Ah, come
I
on,
wish I
man.
had a pig squeal.
Wow.
If you had
Wow.
that soundboard, you
Clint
could-
Eastwood turned down the role of Willard because he thought it was too dark.
Clint Eastwood thought it was too dark. He's the expert on dark.
And Nick Nolte wanted this role more than anything. He thought he had it too.
That
but-
does not surprise me.
As Willard? Yeah. Okay. All right.
And Sam Bottoms was actually on speed, LSD, and marijuana during the shooting of his scenes for the movie.
Which one was he?
That's
That was,
Lance.
Lance, yeah.
That's the
That's-
only reason he
Hey,
survived because he was so high
you know
all the
what?
time.
I said, what did I say earlier? From the minute he dropped acid,
That you
in
like
that
to do
movie,
drugs?
everything went
Oh, wait.
south with him.
What did you say earlier? No one's paying attention. Anthony.
Yeah, you know who
I'm
isn't
just
know?
gonna-
You know who doesn't know what you said earlier? Your wife, because she does not listen to this podcast.
I'm just going to sit here quietly and not say another word, even
No,
though I
no,
picked
no,
this
no,
goddamn
no.
movie.
Please.
You assholes.
We're still listening and talking. Do it.
Oh, there was a great line in this movie. I wrote it down when they're talking about surfing. This is going back to the Kilgore part. And I don't know who says it to him, but Kilgore looks at me and he's like, "You're from goddamn New
From New
Jersey."
Jersey.
And I had just talked to someone at work like 2 days ago about like no one in New Jersey
What do
knows
you
how
know
to
about
surf.
surfing?
There's no
You're from New Jersey.
waves in New Jersey. We have
I
tons of
remember that.
beach. We have tons
was
of beach.
great.
No surfing now.
By the way, kids, if you don't know, this podcast is being recorded from New Jersey.
Oh, we're proud of our New Jersey roots. I think we don't.
Yeah,
hide that.
we don't hide that or anything like that. But real quick, I wanted to tell you about Martin Sheen's sons. During the filming of this, they had parts. Emilio Estevez was 14. Charlie Sheen was 11. They had both their parts were cut. Estevez was played a messenger boy, while Charlie Sheen was just an extra.
Wait, but they were not in it. They were not even in the Redux. They were cut
Yeah, they
from
didn't. They were
everything.
cut from everything. Yeah, you'd think 3 hours 22 minutes they couldn't get him in.
Now-
I mean,
Anthony or Brian, because you saw the original version today.
Theatrical, yeah.
229.
The scene where
He
they
watched that double
are
speed.
110.
what?
He watched the movie in an hour and 10 minutes.
The 2 hour and 20 minute
2 hour,
you watched it
29
in an
minute,
hour and
an hour
10
and 10 minutes.
Fast forward.
Okay. The movie, the scene where they're at the where it's all raining.
The
no
medevac.
no
The
one's in
medevac
charge,
place. Yeah.
and they're
Yeah,
and they,
medevac.
when they all hook up the playmates. When the
Yeah.
playmates now become hookers and they're having sex with the guys in the chopper and stuff like that.
That's not in theatrical.
Okay, that is not because I was watching this today and I'm like, I have no recollection of this
So you
at
missed out
all.
on a lot of breath.
Well, I've seen the Redux before.
Oh,
Okay.
hey, there's one person that we have not brought up that was in this movie.
Uh-oh.
Billy Graham.
Billy Graham, the preacher, Billy Graham.
No, not that Billy Graham.
Superstar Billy
the
Graham?
music promoter. Excuse me, Bill Graham, the music promoter, Billy Graham.
Oh, where's he? Is he the
He
guy
was
with the Playmates? The guy that introduces
He's
the
the guy who
Playmates?
gets off the helicopter, right? Yeah.
Oh, is really
Yes.
that him? Okay.
Yeah, he was the one on the stage at the depot
When the guys
with
are all
big
trying to get
giant theater.
their centerfold
Yes.
signed and they're storming the gates and the like.
And he was also the one in the tent
I want
at the
this.
medevac
I
when
want
it was
this
raining.
shitty ass magazine that I've been carrying with me through the rainforest jungles of Vietnam, signed by you, so I can bring it back to my wife and be like, "Look what I did in Vietnam." Like, who wants their shit
I can't believe I'm
signed?
meeting Miss December, Miss May.
Like, if you want to fuck her or later on rape her or whatever was going on in that helicopter,
right.
but like, you really want your centerfold signed? I mean, Jason would. Jason gets everything signed. I get that. If Jason was in this movie, I get it.
You should see his
Billy
penis.
Graham was, and again,
It is
I'm not looking this up.
It is tattooed with the Miss September through Miss December of 1982. He just did that for the exciting new podcast.
What was I just going to read to you?
I don't even know if I got those months in order.
James Caan was Francis Ford's first choice to play Colonel Lucas, but Caan wanted too much money.
That's the Harrison Ford character, Lucas?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's a one scene thing.
But that's why I'm saying it's a
should
minor role, and
you should
he
be
wanted
paid
too much
nothing
money,
for
yeah.
that. And James Caan probably, coming off of Godfather, was a star. He probably should have been like, I want to be Willard.
There's a ton of Godfather people in this.
Well, there's
There are, and I
three.
noticed that immediately when I
There's
watched
three.
this.
There might be more. There's at least three.
Yeah.
Well, this broke up the friendship between Francis Ford and George Lucas. Lucas backed out of the movie, and Francis Ford felt betrayed. He said, and it ended their friendship. They didn't talk again.
Was
Or
Francis
George
Ford?
Lucas supposed to be
What do you know him?
involved?
What's that?
Anthony,
I
what?
said Francis Ford. What do you know him? Francis Ford.
I'm not saying the last name because it's everybody's. It's
Everyone attacks you.
yeah.
I'm busting balls. I'm just busting balls.
I thought that was like easier. We were getting through more. We were getting more sentences out this way. You know? But no, they didn't work. They didn't work together until Captain EO in 1986.
The
Michael
Michael
Jackson.
Jackson joint.
Yeah.
That
Io?
you had to
Io?
go to Disney World to see, I think.
Yeah, wasn't that at Epcot or whatever?
Or
Something
that,
like that.
one
Yeah.
of those.
What do you got in your notes? Anybody?
I have notes
Do you?
because I was interested in the helicopters because there were Hueys and Loaches. So the Loaches were the small ones and the Hueys are the big ones.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
Huh?
so, so I
There were
was,
different size helicopters. I'm
well, I
sorry.
was
You
reading
didn't
because
notice? Yeah.
Now, the look.
because there's no CGI, and I'm just like, so they got all these things, and so I looked it up, and they had to borrow them from the Philippine Army or Philippine Air Force, I guess, and during the day they would use them and paint them in American colors, and then at night the Philippines were fighting a revolt. And they would have to paint them back to the
Right in the
Philippines
middle of the
colors.
war.
Get the hell out of here.
Being
And they're
filmed
fighting
right
a
in the
war
middle of
with
the war.
like used helicopters that were to be used in a movie that day.
Yeah.
That's
That's
You
crazy.
know, it was the same helicopter from Magnum PI. Those little helicopters.
Yeah, the little Loaches.
Same. The little Loaches were from that was the one from Magnum PI. Just saying.
just saying.
Just
The
saying.
only other thing I have in my notes that I wrote down as I was watching this was maybe the worst scene in the entire movie when they come across that like fishing boat and they shoot it
Yes.
all up,
Oh,
and
that's brutal.
that's where
Puppy.
the puppy Lucas, no, what's his name?
Lance.
Lance gets the puppy.
Lance.
How did every single one of those animals survive? Because there was a duck still quacking and pig still honking. I'm like,
Yeah, and there's
that
bullets flying.
Larry
Like, how do all these
Fishburne
animals
lights
survive?
that fucking boat up.
With the-
And then
Blank.
as soon as it ends, every animal is okay and every human is way dead.
You're just afraid. I thought he was going to lose control of that at first. You're like, he's losing control of that.
Yeah, how did he not shoot Chef?
I was
Well,
a
never
really
once
good
do you see what he's aiming at. He could have been shooting at the same spot the entire time, but that was a
There were, a
brutal
lot,
scene.
there were a lot of inconsistencies in that movie. I mean, they were-
I'm not even
okay,
saying it's
okay.
inconsistent. It was just as soon as the scene ended, and
Okay.
when he goes over and the one girl was still alive, and there's like a pig sitting there, and the pig's like, and there's a duck going. Wah, wah, wah. I'm like, how? What? I'm like, every human got shot, and these animals are just not moving at all, and they're not getting killed.
No animals were harmed in the making of this movie.
Yes, except for that water buffalo. Apparently, they got decapitated. But that's okay. They used it for meat later.
I did this to this scene. I can't watch that part.
With the water buffalo scene?
Yeah.
I didn't know that was real. Now, thinking back on that now, that is fucked up, man. They cut that thing and they bisect it.
I see Marlon Brando getting chopped up. I move my hand back. And then I go block it for the animal.
The real thing getting killed, they show you. The guy getting killed fakely, they just show the Friday the 13th style, the machete go up, a little bit of blood, fly, the horror. Oh, by the way, the horror, that reminds me. I cannot believe, honestly, that Marlon Brando, professional actor that he was quoting Jay Peterman during this entire scene that he was in. He's like, "You're a messenger boy with groceries." I was like, I know Jay Peterman has used those words on Seinfeld.
I think that must have been the other way around.
It really made me look that scene up where Elaine comes to, he's like, she's like, "You know Burmese?" He's like, "No, Elaine, that was gibberish." That was
gibberish. We lost him. We lost him. This is in Roger Ebert includes this on his greatest movie lists. So this is one of the
it deserves to be on there.
Deserves.
I don't know if the Redux deserves to be on there, but the original deserves.
No, the original release, yes. Yeah. The Redux was kind of. I mean, I had to see the Redux because
I love the original. Coppola being like, let me shoot. Yeah. I got 200 extra hours of film here. Yeah. Let me use 30 minutes of that. You have 200 extra hours of film, and you include that 40 minutes. What got cut?
I'm sorry, that 40 minutes in the
French part, that dinner scene was great.
Okay, let's talk about that. Let's talk about that for a minute. The whole French. Let's bring it up again.
Okay, that's fine.
Why not? No, but the whole French colonist scene was great. It really was. Not necessary? No,
not necessary.
But it was but it actually brought up again. This movie was released in 1979, and it brought up a lot of the politics around what was going on.
Oh, of course,
during the Vietnam War.
The French actually had power in 1970.
And the first.
Now you're like
and
French.
The first China War.
What?
The French? The hell did they do?
Oh, by the way, Roxanne Demiffe, the one that gets naked. She was in a Clockwork Orange last week.
Oh,
yeah, she was
really.
She was girl
what
on
was she in
Wharf.
Clockwork Orange?
Girl on Wharf. I'm not.
Was
quite
that one
sure.
of the girls that brought back to the flat?
Maybe. But when I saw Girl on Wharf, I thought that meant Worf from Star Trek. I was like, I don't remember Worf being in Clockwork Orange.
Worf from Star Trek on chips.
Wait, what?
I don't know. She was in Clockwork Orange.
Worf from Star Trek on chips.
Michael Dorn.
Oh, Michael Dorn, yeah.
Michael Dorn? Michael Dorn was on chips?
No, the other guy. The other guy plays
a Klingon?
Freight? Hold on.
Are you talking about
Frakes? I'm thinking
Jonathan Frakes is
number 2.
A human.
Jonathan Frakes.
Number 1.
Number 1.
Logan and I were discussing number 1.
A big director.
Logan and I were discussing number 1 or number 2 today. Like, why is Captain Picard's number 1, but Dr. Evil's number 1 is number 2?
Number 2.
And obviously, it's for better. And I said to Logan, it's for better jokes because you don't get the who does number 2 work for joke.
It is Michael Dorn. I'm sorry. It was Michael Dorn. He's in Chips.
Okay.
He's in
really
60 episodes of Chips. Yeah.
Wow.
He's a player.
Yeah, he plays.
Wow.
He plays Officer Turner, Jebediah Turner.
Jebediah
Turner.
I'm sure I'd recognize him.
I've been rewatching Chips on the Charge Network.
Oh yeah,
CHARGE. It's a network. I don't know.
No, it's not. I think that's the one that Jason and I started to get all those canceled shows back. You'll be seeing season 3.
There's a bootleg out there that has Dennis Hopper's death scene. I couldn't find it though.
Yeah. So what happens to him? You never see him.
No,
the last time you see him is when he's like harassing Martin Sheen in his bamboo cell, and then never again. Yeah, he just
Yeah,
They-
no, you never see
who
him again.
kills
That's it.
him? We don't know.
Yeah, I looked for the scene, but I didn't look hard enough. But I didn't find it. So.
It is really weird that like he kind of it's so funny because at one point when Martin Sheen's in the bamboo cage, and then they go back to Chef on the boat, and it's raining, he's got the poncho on, and I was like, they got Martin Sheen in a cell, and they're just letting the rest of the crew walk around free as a bird, and then the next time you see Chef, his decapitated head is being thrown. Like, oh, I guess he wasn't that free.
It's in Martin Sheen's lap.
And the next time you see Lance, he's joined with all.
Yeah, he's like, yeah, chop that water buffalo's head off.
Lance is tripping balls, just hanging out with the rest of the
He's got
rest
to
of the
get
group.
pulled out of the crowd.
Yeah, he's fine.
Hey, wait, no, it's cool, man. Out with those people, man.
We're going, Lance. We're going. Come on, back to the boat, Lance. We're going.
So, does Lance ever surf again?
I don't know. Lance seems like it'd be fun, though, doesn't he?
I don't know, man. Pre-Vietnam,
I think
maybe. I think Martin
matched-
Sheen does an amazing job the first like 10 minutes of this movie where he's just like in his bed,
Oh, that whole
PTSD and
opening
all over
scene
the
was
place.
brilliant.
Yeah.
Rolling around I think we see full Estevez at one point. He like rolls out of the bed naked, and yeah, he is fucked up, man.
The Martel,
And that's really
Cognac.
like kind of like before
into
its
it.
time. There was no PSD.
They filmed for
PTSD
16
in-
months in the jungle. I mean, these guys
70s.
went nuts. These guys actually
But I'm
lost
just
their
saying,
minds,
like,
you know?
I don't think anybody was recognizing the damage that Vietnam had done to these guys.
Yeah.
In the 70s, that took
The
like
damage it did to these guys that are filming stuff. I mean,
filming fake shit.
Yeah.
Speaking of filming fake shit, that was Francis Ford Coppola filming the documentary in this movie when Martin Sheen is walking by and he's like, "Don't look at the camera. Just pretend you're fighting the war." And I'm like,
that
is
was
that,
him,
is that
wasn't it? That
Francis
was
Ford-
him.
is that Francis
I
Ford
think it
Coppola
was
right
him.
there filming the
I think
documentary?
he does
in
make
the movie?
he makes a cameo in the
Okay,
movie. Yeah.
that's him then. That's him
I
filming the
swear to God, I
documentary.
think that's him.
And Martin Sheen's like, he's like, "Don't look at the camera. Just pretend you're fighting."
Could you imagine being in a war
As a
zone and
filming
having that happen?
and the documentarian is saying,
You're like, how can I get a copy of this?
Can you make this look real? As like bullets are. Can you make this look real, man?
What's this airing
Look
on?
real?
Is this airing on a network?
Look real?
Is this going to be on the Crackle network?
Charge.
It's going to be on Charge with chips.
Is this going to be on Quibi?
Quibi.
Quibi.
Yes, it's going to be in very micro installments and then never again. Is Quibi gone? Quibi's gone, right?
I think it is, yeah. What sucks because like Reno 9/11 was like making a comeback on there, and then
really? They were doing that?
they did a whole season, I believe.
I'm sure Comedy Central or someone picked them up. Because really, fuck Quibi. Fuck them for even trying that.
I agree.
I don't even
what?
know what they did.
You know what?
Just fuck them.
Quibi might come. Hey, Quibi might come cheap.
Ew,
might
Hey,
Quibi
listen,
comes?
if Quibi came right now and said, we want to put the exciting new podcast on
be all
Quibi, I'll be
over.
like, and who
Where do we
went to
sign?
below to do that? And I'm like,
Where do we
okay.
sign?
Jason said he'll get down on his fucking knees right now. Let's go.
Oh wait, I'm back up. Here I am. And what else you got over there? You got more notes? What do you got?
Really? That's
not a
all
good
I
sign.
really have about it.
The long breath.
I mean, you know what? The only other thing that I have, and Andy brought it up, was just the playmates in the helicopter at the medevac. That whole scene was just.
What would you know? What would be
complete
really
cluster.
funny is like if right now you're like the time that I had a drink with Brando in a bar.
The Shatner story, yeah. Oh yeah. Then, like at the end of the podcast, oh yeah. And by the way, I met Shatner one time. We hung out at the bar. I'm like,
So me and Marlon Brando, we
don't
hung
fucking
out.
lead with that.
I spent a month with Marlon Brando in an island on a hut. It was just me and him.
is that a big middle finger? Or I
Is that-
can't tell with his fingers.
Hey, let's see those weird thumbs.
He's got runty little
Look at those
fingers.
weird
I can't
thumbs
tell
he's
with
got.
fingers.
Whoa, what's going on with those?
He's got Megan Fox thumbs. But actually, when you bring up the Playmates, when they were getting
Colleen Camp.
when they're at the place where they get rushed by the guys, they're waving and the helicopter blades are going over their heads, which is fine. They're going slow, but you see these guys get out of the helicopters and they are like crunching down. I've been by a helicopter. You could stand and jump and it's not cutting your head off. But these guys get out of the helicopter and they're all crunched.
Every movie.
These girls are
Every movie with a helicopter
These
is like
girls
that.
are
though.
hanging out of a helicopter. They're 6 feet off the ground, and they are waving, and those blades are growing across their hand. I really thought it would really be cool if one of these girls lost a hand right now. It's because that helicopter blade's going
And
around.
then you were like
Fingertips.
thinking about like what's going to happen in the future.
I was going to say,
On a
what's
future
she,
set.
what's she like in 1987? Just be like, I was a Playboy Playmate. Now I have this hook. And let me tell you the story about this hook.
It's like something like this really bad is going to happen in 1980s. I'm telling you, be careful on the set.
Oh, you're talking about helicopters falling out of the sky and landing on
Children.
little kids.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that would suck.
What about the
Thank
children?
God that doesn't happen.
What about the children?
Until this year's podcast, when we get to
children.
the 1983 movie, The Twilight Zone, the movie.
That we've
Tomorrow.
talked about in every single episode.
I don't even think we have to do the podcast.
We were talking about that in the Love Boat, weren't
No.
we?
Yeah.
We don't even have to talk about the movie. We'll get to that movie and just be like, so,
Mr.
Morrow?
You like the Twilight Zone, you
that
said,
movie.
right?
Moving
But
on.
do you like Twilight Zone the movie? Would you like to be on for that?
I would love to be on for that.
Well, why don't you fly out here for that
Absolutely.
one? You should fly out for that one.
Give me a date and I'll fly.
There you
I
go.
like
I
that
will be
Brian,
there.
who didn't want
We'll
any
check
beers,
our
just checked
schedules.
his
We'll get
two
back with you
empties
on that. But right now, I want to know what Brian thought of this movie. Give me a score, Brian.
Okay, so I do like this movie. I wasn't thrilled about watching it today because you have to be in the mood for it, and it's so long.
It could be a very downer.
I agree with everything you've said so far, which really hurts me a lot that you said all that stuff.
I watched it an hour and 10 minutes.
That's crazy.
That I don't like.
I was absolutely amazed by how well this movie runs at double speed. I had to put on
Closed caption.
closed captions so I could understand.
That's cheating, man. That's
But-
cheating.
I was.
I want
absolutely-
to watch a movie with you to see how you're watching this, because I watched all 3 hours and 29 minutes today also, but I watched it in 3 hours and 29 minutes. So, and you watched the not Redux version in an hour and 10. I watched 3 times the amount of movie you watched.
Now
Today.
I've seen the
15 minutes
Redux
left
version.
watching
After going to a
In
concert.
And I got
22
home at
though.
2:00 in the morning and I still watch this fucking thing.
But I've seen the Redux version within the past year.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Connor wanted
with
to
Connor, yeah.
Connor wanted to Redux.
Connor likes this movie?
I think so, yeah. But
We do.
I do like this movie. I think I would give it a better score
Oh, yeah.
if I was I wanted to watch. Like if 6 months ago, I probably would have given a much higher score. But since I already watched it,
I get it. I get
Yeah.
what he's saying. I
I'm
get what
not
he's
feeling
saying.
good right now where he's going.
so but
This is not a sitting down on a Saturday afternoon and being like, "Hey, let's have fun and watch a movie."
That's not fair to
This
take
is
it.
not
But
that
that's not
movie.
fair to score the movie
No,
because of
it's
that.
not.
exactly. So I'm
but-
going to score it how I feel normally about this movie, and I'm going to give it a 75.
Okay, it's higher
That's a
than
fair
I thought
score.
you were going to go.
That's high for me.
Hey, fucko in Denver with your Eagle shirt. What's your score?
I'm going to, you know what? This is one of those movies. I remember watching this movie as a kid. After I saw Star Wars, after I saw The Godfather.
I get it. I know. I live the same life you live.
I mean, yes. And I really, and plus I was all into war movies because I was a kid of the 70s and the late 70s and 80s. I love this stuff. I love Brando. Everything about this movie, I think this is one of the first true war movies I ever saw. So I'm going to give it 89%.
Okay, I like that. You want me to go?
I'll go. Oh, you can go.
All right. I love this movie. I watched the Redux Thursday night after work. I worked full day and I went home and I watched this movie. I told you on Friday, you were like surprised, and
I was surprised. I was waiting for Jason to be like, "Dude, I can't watch this movie this week." I was waiting for it.
but
And then I got texts to
And
Molly
again,
Crew and Def Leppard. I was hoping he was going to say that. He's like, "I watched it." I'm like, "Fuck."
When I got the text last night, it's like,
I was-
are we still on tomorrow night? I'm like,
I wasn't excited to have to watch this movie. Like you said, you know, it's the kind of movie you want to be in the mood for. You want to be like, I'm watching this. You choose it now. Like you didn't want to have to be forced to watch.
you
it,
have to
basically,
invest in this movie though, because there's so much going on, especially the Redux version.
Mhm.
You have to invest in watching every single
Of course,
solitaire and the dialogue.
I watched the
and everything
Redux
else.
version, and I had a problem with the 40-minute scene. Even with the 40-minute scene extra, it wasn't necessary. But I give it an 88. 88%. I would. It's one of my favorite war movies as well.
It's a fair cop.
I think this is my favorite Vietnam movie. As I think back on the Vietnam movies that I like, this is
Casualties of War.
This is the topper. I give it a 90. I don't think I give the Redux a 90. I think I give the Redux like an 80 because, man, that pacing of that French plantation scene really just
the French
slows
plantation
things
thing
down,
really
man.
went on.
Because you're like
earlier in
you're
the
getting
movie.
to the end of the movie, and all of a sudden they're like, "Here's 40 minutes of nonsense. Nothing happens."
Yeah.
But it's a great scene. It's a great that dinner scene is awesome, but it doesn't need to be there. Like I said, that needs to be a short after the movie. Just be like, "Hey, here's something extra."
scene.
Yeah. It needed to be
It was
a
the
deleted
original
scene.
cut. If it was the original cut, I would give it a 95.
Yeah, no, this is
The
a
original
great
cut was a
movie.
95.
I love this movie. I want to seek out the original. I think I have the DVD. I'll watch the next time I watch
2 hour 29
The next
minute.
time I watch, I'm going to watch the real version, the theatrical version, and then I really hope that Francis Ford Coppola, before he dies, releases the 200-hour version of it.
It's a box set. I'll buy it. I mean,
I won't buy it, but I'll
taking off
seek it
3
out
weeks
on
for watching
illegal
this.
means.
I'll buy it. But
I want to see that 200-hour
Rotten
version.
Tomatoes, the audience.
200-hour version. That's like, I think I have only lived like 173 hours. That's going to be on forever.
The Rotten Tomatoes audience was 94. Critics was 98.
Yeah, this movie is an all-time
It is.
great.
It is. It's not a perfect movie, but it's pretty damn close.
I mean, like, it is a beautifully
Who's coming on
shot
next
movie. It's a beautiful looking movie. It's everything about this movie is great.
Yeah.
Except I think Marlon Brando could have been cut out. Get someone else. Yeah. Save yourself some money and have Brian Alpin play fucking Kurtz.
I was too young.
Cut.
I was too young.
I would have been
I
6
still love the
to
song
9.
Napalm in the morning.
Yeah, it wouldn't have worked.
That's like Tropic Thunder. You would have been like the little kid that was running.
Who's on next week? Do we know?
Are we doing Kevin with
Smoking
the Bandit? Or are we
Or I gotta
doing
get Adrian with
and
Empire
Stacy
Records,
on
right?
Empire Records?
I'll
It's one of them. But we're fast coming up on our 1983 movies.
Yes, 1983
We'll
is
be
kicking
doing-
off with.
I think it's Rumblefish, which I think might have been directed by Francis Ford Coppola. So
It might have been.
jumping-
Yeah, that might be
we'll-
one.
we have
jumping Coppola.
coming up in 83 is The Outsiders, which is a
another Francis Ford Coppola.
Ooh. I'd like to be a part of that one too.
So would a lot
Depending
of
on when you
people,
guys film
man.
it. All right.
I think
all
There's
right,
some
all right.
1983 movies that the waiting list is long.
Doesn't
Trading
your
Places,
son want to be
Return
on
of
for
the
that
Jedi.
one?
All right.
He might.
You know what?
Because that's the one
If
book
you
he
need-
read. Logan's read one book. It was The Outsiders. And by read the book, watch the movie. That's what I really
What-
mean. But
what were you
he'll tell
saying
you.
there,
He'll tell you read
I was
the
going
book.
to say, if you need a early 50s old guy stupid version of it, call me.
There's fucking
Otherwise,
3
whatever.
of them sitting right here. We don't need you.
Right.
Sorry, Jason's
come
not
on,
50.
I'm not. Ladies, hit me up. How you doing?
That was rough. Wow.
Yeah, if we need another mid-50s old white guy, we'll call you because, we're not lousy with them.
Maybe if your wife hits us up and asks for you to be on the podcast, then you can be on it. How's that?
Say, Maury, go to Spreaker.
Spreaker, anywhere else you find our podcast, Google, Spotify, Apple, anywhere. I don't know.
When you open your
Chaser.
phone and
Just
you go
go
to
get it.
podcast, you hit that podcast button.
As long as you know that there's no more penis on Spreaker. And
Give us a thumbs up on Spreaker when you say no
Good thing,
penis.
right?
It's the Jazoo over there on the Instagram. It's Jazoo74 on Twitter. And guess what? I am Jason.
I'm Andy, AE Gonzo1 on Twitter, AE Gonzo 1970 on Instagram.
And I'm Brian, Papa Bad Kitty.
And I am A. Galetta Jr., Anthony Galetta. I am everywhere.
Go Chiefs! Go Chiefs!
Go birds! Go birds! Go birds! Go birds! Go birds!